make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Welcome into Greenie Sports Cards Live, the world's first multi-stream broadcast for the hobby industry, combined with a live auction that will take place a little bit later tonight. Thank you for joining us, as many of you continue to do week over week, and our audience continues to grow with the additional channels that we have incorporated into this. You may be watching us on X and or YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or the Twitter, the old X. You can participate in the show, and we encourage that. You can add your comments to the interactions in the show. We will post those on the live stream as we go. If you have questions for our guests, please add those. If you have comments on anything we're doing or suggestions, please add those as well. For those of you who are not familiar with the show, we'll give you a little bit of a rundown of how this is going to work. Greenie and I, who will be joining us very shortly here, the namesake Steve Greenberg, aka Greenie, and I have been doing this for about a year and a half. We've gone live every Tuesday night at 7, and we will continue to do so. And this evening, for example, we will kick it off in just a little bit with our hobby news segment with our resident expert, Joe Wysmierski of Phoenix Card Shop. And Joe checks in with us every week to update you and us on new product releases and events and things happening in the hobby industry. And we'll talk to him. Very excited this evening with our special guests, and that will continue the show in our format as we move on. And we will welcome Alex Tressler, aka Army ATC 22, who has a very, very unique perspective on Fanatics Fest that just took place in New York City this past weekend. Alex was there as a hobby enthusiast, a collector. He was there as a media representative, capturing content as an influencer, and he participated in the very first Fanatics Fest Games. So very, very excited to talk to Alex, get his recap and review of Fanatics Fest and the games and everything that was happening that impacted the hobby this past weekend. So we'll get to talk to him. And then all roads lead to the National Sports Collectors Convention that will take place in Rosemont near Chicago later in July 30th, which is a Wednesday through that Sunday, August 3rd. And it's the 45th edition of the National Sports Collectors Convention. That is the big one. We will continue to compare and contrast Fanatics Fest versus the National. Those are two very distinct events, both enormous events that have an impact on the hobby, and I believe a place for both moving forward. So very exciting stuff there. On our road to the National, we spotlight dealers, as we will continue to do week over week. And this week, we will welcome the owner of Gemini Sports Cards, Thomas Fisher, a friend of the show, a friend of Greenie, friend of mine. And we're very excited to talk to Thomas about what he's expecting from this year's National. He's got tremendous insight, tremendous experience in the hobby world. And so we'll get to talk to Thomas Fisher about the National Sports Collectors Convention, Alex Tressler about Fanatics Fest. We'll talk to Joe W. Out in Phoenix about everything happening in the hobby world. So continue to stick with us. Again, add your questions, your comments, and interact with the show. We'll continue to do this week over week with influencers, coaches, hobby enthusiasts, dealers, and personalities. So it's been a lot of fun to do this week over week, and we'll get it rolling. Let's go ahead and welcome in the man himself, Steve Greenberg, aka Greenie. Once again, Greenie, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Welcome to your show.
As I say every week, thanks for having me. It's been a ride. I cannot wait for what's happening in the next 6 weeks, starting with Broadview this Saturday and then the National at the end of July.
So, Greenie, the one thing I touched on, but the capstone of the show and what really made this unique when we launched it is the trading card auction. And we have one of the very best auctioneers in the business in Alex Schott. So Alex will go live at 9 p.m. following us. He goes live every Tuesday and Thursday. Talk a little bit about the auction format.
Yeah, it's really cool. We start everything at $2, and he has everything. Alex runs single cards, graded cards, but what's been really cool has been the packs. And with our partnership with Wildcard, we have a direct account. We buy a ton of product there, and what's really cool about some of their products, it's just a one pack, and you're going to get a hit. So Alex has a blast with those. We run a lot of other random packs for him to open, but I mean it's pretty fun. It's call your shot. I mean it's Alex Schott. You can call what you want. If you want to see a Seattle Seahawks and we have them, he runs them. If you want to see a Chicago Cubs and we got a Pete Crow Armstrong, he throws it up for auction. So it's a really cool and unique twist on a regular just auction.
Yeah, so Alex does a tremendous job. We continue to do this because the audience grows week over week, and it's a big part through our partnerships. And we want to thank Collectibles on SI, who is now our presenting sponsor of the show. And if you want to master the world of sports cards collecting, Hobby 101 from Collectibles on SI is your go-to resource for expert insights, market trends, and the stories behind the most coveted cards. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, Collectibles on SI helps you navigate the hobby with confidence, explore the latest articles, and unlock the secrets of collecting at si.com/collectibles, part of the Sports Illustrated family. Find it on SI. So Collectibles on SI is our presenting sponsor. We're supported by Sports Cards Nonsense. Big news there. We're going to be launching on their platform as well next week, and more to come on that. So, Greenie, you mentioned Broadview Heights. That's the next show here regionally before the national.
That's right.
Let's talk about that a little bit. What can you expect at the Broadview Heights show?
So yeah, I mean it's a show we run quarterly. It's 100 tables. Sells out as soon as we put the tables up and available. But I mean, when we open the doors at 9 o'clock, there's a line of people coming in, and I mean, we have some of the coolest vendors that come from, a couple different states. I mean, this isn't the show that people fly into, but it's, if you're within 2 or 3 hours, we get a lot of traffic at this show. And I mean, some of these vendors, they're bringing some unique things. The hottest cards. There's some cool vintage there. There's 90s inserts there. There's memorabilia and a drone or two maybe flying around. So, yeah.
Yeah, lots of fun stuff there. So check greeniesportscards.com for all the upcoming events. Greenie, you've got over 25 collectibles events this year alone. That's one every other week on average. So
Yeah.
Really amazing stuff around Ohio, West Virginia, and all points in between.
And maybe even growing, Jeremy, and maybe even growing.
Yeah, stay tuned for that breaking news. Speaking of breaking news, Greenie, very good friend of the show, Daryl Ryder of Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. He is a Cleveland sports reporter. Daryl has just reported that the final budget for the state of Ohio includes $600 million in funding for the new Brown Stadium in Brook Park. So that has moved forward. They're going to vote on it tomorrow. And then if that passes, which we expect it to do, it will move over to the governor's seat for signature. And the real key part of that, there were 3 different plans put forward, as Daryl explains, that he's done a tremendous job over the last couple of years, really digging into this and looking for nuggets and then asking really pertinent questions. Daryl identified there were 3 different plans. The governor had a plan to fund this. The House of Ohio Representatives had a plan. The Senate had a plan, and they've kind of cobbled all this together into one plan in the final budget. And the one they agreed on is that will be voted on tomorrow, is the plan that takes unused funds in the state of Ohio. There's like $1 billion sitting there. They're going to vote on that to use that fund to allocate to the Cleveland Browns in this case. And I think that's probably the right move, because at some point the Cincinnati Bengals are going to come asking, and other entities and minor league teams around Ohio are going to be asking, if the Browns got those funds, what about us? Well, this gives them a pathway. So we'll see tomorrow. Daryl just shared that. They're going to vote on it tomorrow, and then pending governor's signature, the Cleveland Browns will be moving to Brook Park, which is a bit of a misnomer because the boundary line of Brook Park is actually shared with the city of Cleveland. So that's a topic for a whole other show and why that works. But very interesting development there.
We've seen a lot of the plans, and it's going to be cool. It is. And yeah, that's for another show, and bring the dome. Yep. That's all I want.
Well, speaking of news and breaking news, we're going to welcome in our resident expert, Joe Wysmierski. And of course, Hobby News is powered by Cut the Nonsense, the new weekly's collectibles broadcast with hobby insiders Danny Black, Mike Giuseppe, and the man himself, Joe Wysmierski. Episodes of Cut the Nonsense are available on YouTube every Wednesday. The 3rd episode will go live tomorrow, and very cool stuff there. I hear there were two very special guests among the 4 that were on there, and Joe can tell us what to expect on that show tomorrow night and more. Good evening, Joe.
Thank you, gentlemen, for having me. Yes, it is going to be an exciting show, covering a lot of information about what happened at Fanatics Fest and how the overall environment was there. We have 2 gentlemen who were there and got to experience it firsthand with Mike and Danny. Unfortunately, there wasn't room for a 5th guy on the screen, so I did get bumped.
That's such nonsense.
It is. Yeah. What's great too is there must be something in the air with stadiums and funding, because the Diamondbacks are one small step away from securing $500 million in order to renovate the current stadium. It is sitting on the desk of the governor. The House approved it to capture the sales tax from the stadium and adjacent businesses for the next 30 years. And it is a need that the stadium does have to get some updates, because it's been a while. And I know at one point we weren't able to open the stadium while people were inside the building. They could only open it before and after left, but they have fixed that now.
The roof. Why would you even want that roof open? It's 186 degrees in Phoenix.
You know what? We get your jacket. We're going to be under 105 this whole week, so
it might as well snow.
You know what? It's funny. I had one of my kids at a birthday party this past weekend, and we talk about it all the time. This is the only place on the planet that you get out of a pool and it's 100 degrees air temperature and it's freezing. Wild. Well, Steve, I don't want to speak any more nonsense because we have a huge week of release. And I think we should, Dynasty Baseball breaks. It releases this week. So let's just do a break right now, a sample.
Please.
That's not going to happen, Steve, because that is an incredibly expensive product.
Well, isn't Jerry there?
No, Jerry's here, but I thought that'd be a fun little teaser. This is a Rolls-Royce product that Topps puts out every year. It's not quite the Maybach, but it is a Rolls-Royce. You're looking at the baseball logo men there, Skeens. This is the 2024 rookie class. So this is one of the products for the entire year. And bow tie on this rookie class. So again, you're looking for all the Jacksons. You're looking for Merrill, Churio. You have a Pete Crow sitting there. Also Jackson Holiday, Skeens, Ellie.
Not a rookie, but what about a Cal Raleigh? Huh?
Oh my gosh, 32 homers and probably in counting
God.
as we speak.
Over under that he gets to 40 this year.
Oh, he's going. You know what's crazy?
No, I know he's going to get over 40. I'm just saying, like.
So not that we're a gambling show at all, but I thought it was crazy that even the year that he is having as a catcher, right?
Right.
He's still way behind Aaron Judge for the MVP. Aaron Judge is like a minus 3,500, I think, to be the MVP, which
I'm going to tell you something. If you were to go to a card show this weekend, I bet you find Cal Raleigh cards in cheap boxes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And to that point though, Greenie, you probably 5-6 years ago, you probably found the same with Judge too.
Oh, it's funny you say that. I actually told somebody this week. If I used to run Facebook auctions, and I still have a group, I haven't used it in a while. But if you go in that group and you search Aaron Judge, I promise you will find rookie autos under $10 that I sold when he first came out.
It's crazy, and
nobody cared.
Nobody does care. But Dynasty, back to that, it is not a product for everyone. If you jump into a break and you get an opportunity to win a card, that's fantastic. But this is definitely this is a high risk, high reward type product. The cards are beautiful. They are a thicker stock, but this is not something that you're going to see in a dollar box or an everyday box.
Probably not.
This is probably more Fanatics Fest displays, to let you know.
Good.
They're gorgeous.
They are. Yeah, that's cool.
So we have a product that is kicking off this year's football, which is Score Football. Score Football will have the 2025 rookies. There's Arizona State's own Cam Scattaboo by way of Sacramento State. He is now a Giant. This product is great because it does introduce us to the rookies. However, they are in their collegiate uniforms. So you're not going to get those guys rookie cards in their pro uniforms yet, but it does introduce you to the rookie class. As you can see here, we have a great duel of Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr., which should be
this is it for Trevor Lawrence, right? This year, it's it.
I mean, they've got a good cast around him. They really do.
If he can't do it, that's it, right?
And to that point, though, Steve, he's had a kind of a carousel of coaches.
I know, but man,
John Judkins, great addition.
Yeah, we hope so.
Hopefully, he's going to have a new stadium to run in eventually, which is going to be fantastic.
Well, they're voting tomorrow.
Fantastic. Do you know, by the way, are they going to do natural grass or artificial?
Oh, I would assume artificial.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know that. I mean, we'll ask Daryl next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Score, great product, a great starter. You're going to get a ton of cards in this. It's not a product that's going to break the bank. It will give you a good amount of autos that are going to have rookies and veterans, but it's definitely a fun product to get you introduced to that rookie class. And again, you're going to get a lot of packs. This is also another product. Maybe at your local card shop or at a hobby shop or even at a card show, you might have a vendor that's selling them by the pack. So you can get in there and really have an opportunity to be the block to have one of those rookies.
Very wallet friendly.
Absolutely. And you could hit something that's really cool. Like you could get a cool card in there. So it's a good product for sure. And the last product that I will tell you this week is going to be it is Topps Chrome Club Competitions. It is a soccer product. This is kind of big because right now in the United States, we have a couple of big things going on. We have the FIFA Club World Cup, and then we also have the Gold Cup that are going on simultaneously right now. So
I was watching the game with Messi last night.
It's captivating. One of our MLS teams, they haven't lost a game yet in there. I mean, knock on wood. But that's super cool, especially because MLS has kind of been looked at as a lower tier. But also the South American teams are really showing up. It's not just the European teams that are sport here. So it's really, really nice to be able to have that representation on a world stage. And then having a product like this is going to just introduce you to more of these teams across the globe. These are these are club competitions, UEFA. So these are the teams that are within the Champions League. So it's the cream of the crop from each of the different leagues across the globe.
There it is, firsthand.
Yes.
I like it.
There you go.
Get you a
Joe,
message.
thanks for joining us as you do every week. Before we let you go, let everybody where they could find you, and especially where they could find you tomorrow night at 8:00. Absolutely.
So you can find Phoenix Sports Cards at 59th and Thunderbird in Glendale, Arizona. Also at phxsportscards.com on Instagram. And you can check out our eBay. We're done with the live auctions tonight. And then find me tomorrow on YouTube on the Sports Cards page for Cut the Nonsense episode 3.
And with that, Joe, we'll see you. Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks, Joe.
That was a funny episode. We saw it. That'll be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Make sure you check that out. 8 p.m. every Wednesday. Haley's the producer on that as well, doing a great job editing, producing, making us all look better than we deserve. So
absolutely.
Speaking of a man who looks better than we deserve, Alex Tressler will be joining us very shortly. Alex has become a friend of Greenie Sports Cards, friends of the show. He appeared on this show last year, and then he joined us at the Great Lakes Collectors Convention all weekend. We really appreciated Alex joining us. And as I indicated earlier, Alex, first of all, Army ATC 22 is an Army veteran. We appreciate his service and sacrifice for the country. And then at Fanatics Fest, as I mentioned, he had a really, really unique perspective of anybody there. There is a hobby enthusiast, a collector, a fan of the industry. He was there in a media influencer capacity, grabbing content and interacting all weekend. And then he was one of the very few participants in the first ever Fanatics Games. So we're going to give you a little bit of a taste of that, and then we'll go ahead and welcome in Alex.
Yeah. Mm. Well, we might have had a little technical difficulties with the sound, but you got to see and get the gist of Alex, and you can see it on his Instagram page, and we'll talk to him and he'll take us through it. But I mean, that looked pretty fun.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. There was just music there, so you got the visuals of it. Pretty awesome stuff. Tonight's special guest segment is supported by Sports Cards Nonsense. Hosts Mike Giuseppe and Jesse Gibson break down hot releases, smart investments, and everything collectors need to know on new podcast episodes that drop every Monday and Thursday. So tune in ahead and stay ahead of the Collectibles game with Sports Cards Nonsense. So With that, we will go ahead and welcome in Army ATC 22, Alex Tressler.
How's it going, fellas?
Well, we know how we're doing. How are you feeling today?
Feeling great. After
Yeah?
another long weekend at a show and, more of an event, again, making sure everyone's fully aware.
Of course.
This is a sports fan event that has cards at it. No, this weekend was incredible. My flight got canceled Sunday, so I had to stay an extra day. Shout out to Alex Giamo. She allowed me to stay over at her place, crashed there before I flew out on Monday. So it was a good time. Who also participated in the games.
Alex, you according to the scoreboard, you finished 43rd. Based on that video, I'm not sure how that happened. How good was everybody else? You hit your basketball shots. You were close to the pin. You had football action.
Of course,
soccer.
Of course, I'm only showing when I actually did good, right? I'm not going to show it all. I have the full clips. It was really wild. Like, that score could have been a lot higher because all the other football throws, because there was a couple that I still hit that I didn't show, and everything, they just bounced right off of the actual, where it was going into. Basketball, I rimmed out almost every other shot that I put up. It was wild. So that the shot from the free throw line, I didn't even know it went in. Like, when I shot it, I looked I thought it was online, but then I saw it bounce up. So it did the Halliburton straight back in, which was pretty wild. But I could have definitely had a higher score. My golf, that was the only one I hit onto the green. I'm transparent with everything. It's the only one I hit on the green. The rest of them all majorly shanked. But it was a very cool experience because it's like we were VIPs being taken around, went through the back rooms, getting to the next game and everything else. The walkout, I gotta say, so I think I even wrote it in the description. The judges were incredible, except the Kathy Kelly, I think that's her name. She was very, very hard grader. I got a 4 out of 10 out of this, and the whole place was rocking. Like, the whole video is up on a separate post. Oh no, this is that. Yeah, this is the whole video. Yeah, the one all the way on the right. She gave me a 4 of 10. The other, the guy in the middle gave me an 8 of 10, and the other female gave me a 7 of 10. I had the whole place. I brought a kid up, gave him my glasses. I did everything, and the adrenaline was just running through me. And I'm telling you what, that crowd was loaded with collectors, people that that they saw my Instagram. They talked to me all day, asked me all day what time I'm doing it. And you can see that place was rocking. It was awesome.
That's pretty cool. It gives you a celebrity feel, kind of what they feel like coming down. Maybe not 100,000 people, but you had a lot of people around there.
Yeah, there was a few hundred people around there, so I was.
When you're doing this, were there actual athletes coming around? Like, were they watching? Were they participating at the same time?
So this is one of the things. Like, you guys saw from the outside, you would think, right, when you saw the talk about it and everything else, that we were competing at the same time with the athletes. We didn't. They actually kept the athletes separate than the fans. It'd be like 2 athletes went. So Cody Rhodes and Childs, the Olympic gymnast, forget her first name. They were paired together. They went before me. I was the first fan on Sunday. There was 2 other behind me. They were staggering us, but because Jordan Childs, that's it. Because the fact that they kept on getting stopped and being interviewed and stuff, we caught up to them. If you guys saw in the video, Cody Rhodes came by and he was giving me tips for throwing football. It was pretty cool. And then I found out that he's one of the most unathletic individuals that are like in sports. Like, you watch his baseball, his basketball. I have clips of his basketball, just wild. And he's getting roasted. He's not getting roasted as much as I know everyone has seen the viral video of Joe Burrow throwing the baseball during the baseball segment. Have you guys seen it? Like,
I saw something.
It's bad. He's just a bit outside almost every throw to the left. What's really funny though, so this was on Saturday. Both days prior, because I was on Sunday, I went around watching. I was watching to see what mistakes they were doing, everything else, how to learn from it and stuff. That video that went viral, there was a camera, there was a phone that was in front of it. That's my phone. I was standing right there. I'm going to show the footage. I'm going to post it later on my Instagram and stuff, saying, no, that was everyone in the comments of these videos that got, millions of views are like, someone needed to sort of told that dude to put his phone down. I didn't know someone was filming behind me. I was filming right there. I was right up front, and I got a good view of that, but it was brutal. But no, it felt like a VIP. They were taking us behind, the scenes to get to the next one and everything else. And overall, that event was incredible.
Alex, let's take it back a little bit to the beginning of the weekend. This is the second annual Fanatics Fest in New York. There were a couple of fits and starts with some other locations. They seem to have figured some things out, certainly based on last year. What were I'd like your impressions as a hobby enthusiast, a collector, when you're first encountering this show, and then talk to us about your impressions from the overall influencer perspective and the type of content you were able to gather this weekend.
So of course it is bigger. It was 40% bigger than it was, last year. And hold on a second. Where did my thing go? Boom. There. It was 40% bigger than last year, and you can clearly tell that they were trying to incorporate the hobby aspect of the hobby area in with the other ones. That's why they were kind of, they had, you would think this is the overall of the Javits Center, the hobbies here, and then they had stuff on top and on the bottom, so you kind of had to go through it to see anything. Like Graybo's, the actual hobby shop that's here in Richmond was right next to the Cold as Ball stage with Kevin Hart. That was pretty cool because we literally see right behind the curtain, and Kevin Hart was there, and everyone saw Victor Wembanyama behind the curtain because everyone saw his head. It was ridiculous. No, so being bigger was incredible. They did last year. One of the things I loved was they do focus a lot on the celebrities, athletes, streamers and stuff came through. They focus a lot on that. There was a lot more here this time, a lot more of those smaller like influencers that are on Instagram. They're local to New York City. I posted a video with little mozzarella. The guys, how you doing? I saw him over at the Lids. He was at Lids all 3 days. There's people like them were roaming around all over. The guy that was part, it was at Murray State with the boombox. He was roaming the floor. He didn't have a boombox, and if you don't remember his face, like you probably walked right by him. I noticed him. The guy that the comedian, that the salesman that goes up to people's doors and has the cleaning spray, and he's talking really fast and funny stuff. He was roaming around the floor. It was just wild. But the one thing I do have to say about the people, this is something a lot of people are talking about. The dealers had a great time and everything else. They did really well, and people starting to compare between that and the national, right? Everyone's going to do it. This is what I have to say about it. I'm telling every person this. They said 125,000 people walked through that door this weekend. The national had 125,000 plus that walked through last year. Okay. So think about this. How many of the 125,000 this weekend went for cards? How many of 125,000 last year at the national went for cards? That tells you how the national is still relevant.
So, yeah. Obviously there's a lot of crossover, but it's a two totally separate 125,000 people.
It is. This isn't a car show. This is a show for sports fans,
right,
in general, right? So that's and people are, they're all starting to say, between the difference between the two and everything else.
They're not competition, and they're not.
Tops Fanatics will be at the national, right? And everything. Right. Now, if Fanatics, I'll say this, and I think I've told this before, if Fanatics all of a sudden has Panini, Leaf, all those other card companies and all those at Fanatics Fest down the road, now it's starting to possibly go, but they'll never get that. They'll never do that. They are focused on the interactions with the athletes, celebrities, and stuff, with the fans and the fan interactions, with activations and everything. Yeah, these big type of venues, they're throwing the money out there to give the experience that these fans that they want, and it's incredible. Like this stuff, it was just wild. And the price, you got to think about this. Everyone wanted to complain about the price, $60 to get in. Each day, tell me if you going to the LeBron James, the shop, or sit down with this, and the Kevin Hart taping. How many times have you gone to a theater, gone to a comedy show, gone to a panel or something? How much did you pay to get in? Right. You are getting to see all this for free when you come into the show. Right. You get to come in. So that price point, yes, it seems high, but all that extra stuff that's there during the show, it's well worth it. It's well worth it to possibly be standing there and all of a sudden Tom Brady walks by you, or you walk over to the Starbucks downstairs and Jared McCain's handing out Starbucks, right? And everything like that just doesn't happen. It's wild.
Yeah, they're two entirely different formats, and there's a space for both. The attendance will tell you that. The National is in its 45th year. It's a different experience. If you're a collector, that's where you want to be. If you're a sports fan, you want to be at Fanatics Fest. Alex, we're going to welcome Thomas Fisher of Gemini Sports Cards here shortly as our dealer spotlight heading up to the National. Presuming you'll be there as well, what do you expect from the National Sports Collectors Convention this year?
I'm expecting, cards, man. I'm expecting cards and more cards and everything else you can think of. There is a lot of extra things that are coming out that I'm privy to that I'm not going to be saying yet. There's some cool things that are happening that are behind the doors, and I can't wait I'm going to be actually talking about it hopefully really shortly, maybe around the 4th of July. I don't know if it kind of links to being in the service and stuff, but there's some very unique things that will be coming out, and they're trying to revolutionize actual like big events. And the National, the actual board and everything, they see all this. They were the president of the National was at Fanatics Fest this weekend, right? They were there, they were enjoying it themselves, and they're learning, they're understanding, they're seeing what other individuals have. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see everyone that I don't get to see. Well, I saw a good bit of them this weekend, and everything, and enjoy the hobby that we all love. I'm also excited to see what the vendors vote on, Detroit or Atlanta. Can you guys give your vote right now? Can you tell us what you would vote on?
So I will sit and I will listen to both presentations from Atlanta and from Detroit. Without knowing anything about either, Detroit is a 3-hour drive for me. Doesn't mean that's who I'm going to choose.
Correct.
But
did they not send over stuff
yeah,
to you yet?
but at one of the dealer meetings, we'll be able to get presentations from both. So
cities. talking with some of the national individuals, right? It's a good bit of dealers are from that Midwest area. Right. So a lot of people don't be surprised the outcome is that I personally, I'd honestly hoping it's Detroit, because I've never been there. Right. These type of shows, I've talked about this so many times. I enjoy going to new cities. I love traveling and everything, and I've been to Atlanta plenty of times. Never been to Detroit before. I kind of want to hopefully for it to go there to have a chance to see the city on top of it. So, we'll see what it is. That's still technically 4 years away. So
that's right.
I've been on the other side of those presentations, at least 4 times. I was a part of the production team for the National in Cleveland through 5 cycles. Through 4 of those, we went to present in those votes, and a lot of things can happen in those meetings. And I think the dealers just need to be pragmatic about it, listen to it. There's a lot of stakeholders involved on every level, from moving people in and out of the building to getting attendees through the amenities, cost of doing business, all those things. And it's not as simple as I like Detroit or I like Atlanta. You really got to pay attention to what the atmosphere of commerce is going to look like at the end of the day, and what's best for the hobby. So
I got a question, and it's bringing back to Fanatics Fest, and this is for Greenie, right?
Okay, sure.
I'm sure you've heard from, your friends that are vendors, dealers, and everything else that went to Fanatics Fest, and you've seen the footage. You've seen everything the previous 2 years. Does any of this make you want to go set up next year?
So that's the tough question. Do I want to go? Yes. Do I want to set up? So I don't play in the high end card space, right? I don't have $50,000, $100,000 cards, and I know that's not everything that's there, but I feel like when everything that I watch, it's a high end card show. So I think that I would like to go as a spectator. Doesn't mean that I won't, but $3,000 also to set up, plus travel, plus lodging. You're $7,000-8,000 before you sell a card.
Yep. This is preview before my YouTube video comes out, because I sit down and talk everything. I talk everything from the games. I talk everything for, exactly. I went with cards. I had cards with me. I didn't sell or buy one card the whole time I was there. I enjoyed the whole weekend of everything that I had to involve.
I would like to go and do it like that.
Yeah.
And just experience it.
It's an experience. Like, it's wild. Like, and I love seeing it, right? I love being a part. You know me. I just love enjoying everything, and then seeing the faces, the crowds and everyone going crazy, and big pools are happening in the Fanatics live area and stuff. It's just, it was very, very cool and surreal. And then I realized, I'm like, I brought cards with me. I haven't even touched them. I also was roaming around everywhere and stuff like that, doing enough. There's some good footage coming out. Did a nice little couple interviews preview to it with Ice Cube's son, huge WWE collector. It's wild. Jackson, and maybe my side mission. I had a little side quest, right? My Fanatics yearbook 2024 from the rookie premiere, to try to get the 3 autos. Jaden, Caleb, and Malik. I might have gotten 2 of them, so be looking out for that. That was pretty cool. So,
yeah. Well, Alex, we could talk to you all day, and we're not throwing you out. You're welcome to stay for Tom Fisher, but in case you don't, let everybody else know where they could find your content that's going to be coming out. I know you got some tremendous stuff that's on the horizon here. Yep.
So, of course, everything mainly can be seen on Instagram on Army ATC 22, but also my YouTube, Army ATC 22. I am going to discuss everything there is via Fanatics Fest from start to finish that I could see, that I was privy to. Everything from, the big sale of the Jaden Daniels card. I was right there during the trade night, to, maybe behind the scenes, some of the things I saw because I had backroom access and stuff. I'm trying to revamp my YouTube up. I don't know yet. I'm in the talks. I might have someone follow me with a camera at the National. Who knows? I don't know if I'm that big of a person yet. Right? I just have fun with it.
Well, we might know that camera guy, so we look forward to seeing you in Chicago.
Yes, I can't wait. A little month away, man.
Yeah, crazy. It's as close as it is. It's almost over too.
What's wild is literally in 3 days I'm going to be at CSA at another big show.
So, that's right. Yeah,
Tilly, right up the road.
That's right. Cool.
Amazing.
Well, Alex, thanks. We appreciate it as always.
I appreciate you guys also.
Yeah.
Love it.
Catch you later.
All right, our thanks to Army ATC 22, Alex Tressler. Alex, if you're hanging out, we'll bring you back, but we're going to welcome in a friend of Greenie's, friend of the show, friend of mine. He's a friend to women and children and pets and dogs, and just one of the finest gentlemen in the collectibles industry, and a true man of honor and distinction from Gemini Sports Cards. Let's go ahead and welcome in Thomas Fisher.
Jeremy, what is your Venmo again, so I can send you over?
Yeah,
I'll text it to you.
That also doesn't look like Galena, Ohio, Tom.
No, I am sorry for the moving camera. I'm having a little technical difficulties with the iPad, so I'm now holding my phone. And since we're holding it, we can go ahead, and we are at the beach condo, which I am fortunate to have in our ownership, and we get to look at the Atlantic Ocean every morning this week when I wake up. So I'm in a day one of a 6-day South Carolina buying trip to get more inventory ready for the National. Because you can never have enough cards for the National.
You are living the dream, Tom. You're buying and selling cards and sitting there on the beach, and yeah,
I absolutely a blessed man, my friend.
So yeah, so the National is 6 weeks away. Five Mondays we'll be there. And what number National is this for you?
I believe 19 legally. Add 2 more where I set up with somebody else, and then probably 8 or 9 as just a customer. So I'm into 30 overall, but this will be 19 as a vendor.
When you first went to one as a customer, because you went first as a customer before you were a vendor, what do you see different between now or then and what's going to happen in 2025?
My first show, I believe we were in St. Louis, I think in 95. That was my first flight. First time going to the National. And I don't know what attendance was, but it was probably, 40,000 people. There were no lines. You walked in, you got your ticket. We didn't pre-buy tickets. Now people are coming in on Monday to pick up their tickets because there's going to be 125, 130, 135,000 people through 5 days. It is just going to be insanity, but a good insanity because the National Board and JBJ have worked together, and this will not be the Chicago it was a couple years ago. This is going to be a brand new Chicago with a different floor plan, a different layout, and it will be prepared.
What were you looking to buy in 1995?
In 1995, I was probably still working on my Don Mattingly and Eddie George collection.
Okay.
Because again, I didn't have a lot of money then. It was just out of love. Anything I bought and sold paid for what I kept.
Yeah. That's how times have changed because now you have 2 booths filled with cards and you're going there to sell, not necessarily buy, correct?
So the new trend now in our industry is people have got those pop-up table display banners that stretch 8 foot across and say that's their buying station. Well, I'm getting one made that says selling. I buy 51 weeks out of the year. I do not need to buy that week. They can go to 600 other booths, 2,000 other tables, 75 more tables upstairs. There's plenty of people to buy your stuff. Don't bring it to me that week because I will have, if we get it done, we'll have 20,000 cards for our 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 boxes. We'll have 100,000 cards in our 50-cent boxes. We'll have 2,000 to 3,000 cards in our $10 boxes. We have, I think, 500 $100 cards right now. So we have plenty of stuff to keep you busy digging, keep you busy looking, and we will be helping customers totaling up their purchase, bagging it up, sending them on their way. More people will get into the booth. We are not buying the week of the National.
Tom, Gemini Sports Cards is a destination on the floor. You reference 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 without giving away trade secrets and your secrets. Talk about what that is. It's a really unique presentation for the National. What can people expect with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
So the beauty of this industry is it always lies into the eye of the beholder. And a business associate of mine told me I used to sell my stuff way too cheap. And he said, people come and buy from your dollars and your 3s and your 5s because they're putting it out on their table with 3s and 5s and 10s. And I said, I don't care. I'm selling it. That's the whole key. And, and we would chat, over the years. And then 2 years ago, it finally hit me. And I'm like, you know what? Let's let the customer decide what it's worth to them. Because a card to me, the same card to somebody from Texas and the same card to somebody from Montana can be completely different price point for them. So I started out 2 years ago and I was like, you know what? The National is the only 5-day show. So Wednesday is 5, Thursday is 4, Friday they're 3, Saturday they're 2, Sunday they're $1. The first year, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday went over well. Saturday, they're down to 2, and it got really busy. And then on Sunday, Steve and I walked in together. His booth was just down the row from mine. And we look over at my booth, and somehow there's 8 people in line already to start digging. The table wasn't even yet. Steve looked at me and he goes, I wasn't impressed until now. So I opened the booth up. People just started just building stacks and stacks and stacks. The 8th person came up and said, their stacks are theirs. I'm buying everything else. I said, okay, you guys are done digging. They're all sold. You can pay for what you pulled. And then last year we sold out again. The beauty of all that, my attorney is one of my good friends. He sets up where he works for me at the National. And so after last year's National, he says, we are copywriting this. So I now have the only trademark selling process in the sports card industry. And if anybody else wants to try to duplicate this, they can, but then they will be facing legal action.
And there you have it. There's breaking news.
Breaking news. So it's
Breaking news.
The beauty of having your attorney work at the National for you. Again, it's so interesting. My busiest week of the year, he takes a week of vacation because it's fun for him. It's relaxed.
Right.
He doesn't have to work with law and everything an attorney does. He just gets to come and buy and sell some ball cards and go out to eat and just enjoy time with his buddy. So
yeah, we love JP, and it's great that our booths will be across from each other this time. So it's that I'll get a chance to look over and see, is it 10 deep? Is it 20 deep? Do you need another person to come over and help? Who knows? Right.
Yeah. Last year, there were multiple times where it was 10 to 15 people in front, another 10 behind, more people waiting. As soon as somebody walks away, 3 people are trying to get into the spot. And again, I try to always make sure my quality is the best per price point than anybody in that room. And I've done this for so long that a lot of people come immediately and look. And, I think, who was it? Jay from Mojo Sports came and did a film for 2 hours last year, did a 45-minute YouTube video. And he's like, most incredible concept I've seen at a show. He goes, it keeps people coming back every single day.
Yeah. Of
Tom,
all the nationals, go ahead, Jeremy.
I was just going to say, I've seen and been privy to the National for about 25 years, since 2000 was my first show, and have seen it in multiple cities. When we went to the show in Chicago, first show post-COVID, Greenie and I looked at each other at one point, and I was just blown away by it. Things were different, and the show was different. The amount of people and the massive humanity that were in the aisles, and there was business for every booth and every table. I thought, I don't know where it's going to go in Cleveland and how it can even surpass this. And then we saw last year the explosion of what happened at the IX Center in Cleveland, and it just keeps going and going. You mentioned the floor plan's a little different. There's some changes to Chicago. What can we expect from what you know and some of the insight on how the floor plan's laid out and where the industry's heading this year, particularly coming off Fanatics Fest? It's an all-time fever pitch.
Right. And the beautiful thing is Fanatics Fest and the National, they can absolutely coexist. They're 2 completely different shows. I don't want to be the old guy, you kids get off my lawn, because, Fanatics Fest necessarily isn't for me. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not a TikTok. I can't even spell TikTok. And so that's not for me. If that's what you want to do, great, go do it. The backbone of this industry, the collector, that's why this is called the National Sports Collectors Convention. JBJ has came in, and they are now the promoting partners of this show. They have done a phenomenal job in utilizing the floor space to the best advantage of the room. They have taken corporate from the middle of the main floor and pushed it back. It's still in the middle, but it's back. So it's back against the loading docks and the back door. I really think the corporate displays a couple years ago, they were so high and they were disrupting the airflow, hence why it was 90 degrees back where we set up. So they're like, you know what, we can deal with that. We just put them in the back, just push them back. And they just, there was no traffic flow last time we were in Chicago. This year we will have great traffic flow all the way over, as you see in your map there, to the new part that just 5 years ago they were parking cars over there. Now we have it absolutely full with more vendors, more corporate. The autograph signers are over there. And now this year we have 75 individual tables upstairs. The National listened, and people are like, we're doing it the right way. We're trying to get in. We can't get in because nobody's leaving. And the National's like, you know what? You're right. We've told you to do it the right way. They came in and cleaned up a lot of the shenanigans that were going on. And so now the people are still trying to do it the right way, and they can't get in. So National's like, we've listened, we've heard you. Now we have 75 tables upstairs. There's still a 300-person waiting list for tables, for space. And it's only going to continue to grow. Because, again, this is the greatest show in the world, greatest card show in the world. This isn't a fan fest. This is a card show first.
Mm-hmm. Right, which in Fanatics is a fest first and a card show second. And I think they do that on purpose.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's fine. This is a collector's show. And while there will be people in there that need to flip cards and do all that and go home and list them wherever they do, eBay Live, whatnot, there are still a ton of collectors that are coming to buy Don Mattingly and Eddie George cards.
Absolutely. And I envy them, and there's times I wish I still was doing that.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like we say this all the time. What can happen? What will happen? Is there anything left that can surprise us at a national?
No, I want to say no, but I'm going to say probably.
Right.
But not a lot, because again, I've been doing shows now for 38 years. I've done high end, I've done low end, I've done medium. I'm known as 54321, but I also have a $50,000 basketball set out. I'll have a Michael Jordan or a Kobe Bryant inscription auto out for $30,000. I'll have a LeBron NBA logo out, a logo man patch out. So that, I'm known as 54321, but I also am going to have some amazing stuff there. Then there's guys that'll have tables full of amazing stuff that they'll almost need security at their booth for it. So it's hard to wow me anymore with a card, but if it's going to happen, it's going to happen there.
Where can people find? What are your booth numbers?
So remember, 54321 is as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, look at that!
Yes, that just sort of happened. But my double booth is it's actually in an elevated position up in the PSA pavilion. You just walk up a slight little ramp, and we're right there. We're viewable from the main floor. I will have 54321 table covers out, and we will be at booth 1232 and 1234.
For people that have been in this building 20 times that the National's been there, I believe this is the room that was called the Olympic Pavilion, correct?
This is where the Olympic Pavilion started. And then when they stopped, I think they had a year lull where it's so amazing to think this, there was nothing there. And then it became the Breakers Pavilion when breaking started to find its foothold in this industry.
But people know where it is. It's a good space. PSA is the centerpiece of that room, so the traffic there will be pretty amazing.
That's what I'm counting on. Yes.
All right, Tom, we appreciate you joining us this evening. Appreciate your partnership and support of all the Greenie Sport Cards endeavor, and looking forward to Chicago and the National.
Absolutely. Thank you, boys. I appreciate everything you do.
Yep. See you later.
All right, Greenie.
Yeah.
We'll put a bow on this show real quick. You've got the Broadview Heights show coming up on 6/28. That's the last show here regionally before the National Sports Collectors Convention, which kicks off July 30th. That's going to be awesome. Our thanks to Joe W. for joining us for Hobby News this evening. Alex Tressler with his views on Fanatics Fest at Army ATC 22. Joe Wysmierski, Hobby News, to Haley on the board, to Thomas Fisher, Gemini Sports Cards, and the entire Greenie team. Greenie, thank you for your support and allowing us to do this every week. May the cards forever be in your favor.
Have a good night, everybody.